Welcome back to Mik'd Up. I'm happy to announce that it was not a 30-minute break. It was only a minute and 30-second break, maybe. We are back live from Cards and Culture. We appreciate you sticking with us. Anthony Raunado is on the show with us. Ooh. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. We obviously talking football. Anthony has learned a lot about football over the course of the last couple of years since gambling became legal.
Big football guy now.
He learned a lot about the football world, which is great. But he's always done a lot about the baseball world. He's gone through it with us. So I wanted to bring him on there to get a little bit of an insight on what me and Jared have been talking about, right? Like we've talked about on the show before, the way Major League Baseball is set up and the way the minor league is set up and how they're pushing guys is a lot different than when we came up, right? Like it was, hey, you go down there, you play for an extended period of time at a level, show that you're ready, you move up. Show that you're ready, you move up. But showing that you're ready isn't 2-week, 3-week stretch. It's a 2, 3, 4, 5-month stretch. Yeah. And now, I mean, you saw it with Shanuel, who I think that's how you pronounce his last name, for the Angels.
Angels guy. Yeah.
The first baseman from FAU got drafted 45 days ago, and then he makes his Major League debut.
Did he do well in his debut?
He got a hit.
He did.
He was like 1 for 3 or 1 for 4.
Let off, right?
Let off.
Crazy.
Which here's
I didn't even know that.
Here's
in the fire.
Here's the deal.
Wild, right?
I think they let him off because he had Shohei head behind him.
I mean, yeah, they were obviously protecting him, but that's even crazier.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
like I love that they did that. But it's just like wow.
Right, but like they pushed him
in the fire, like as much as you could.
Exactly, and they pushed him quick. He got to the big leagues. So I'm saying this because you see Dylan Crews, who's killed it, right? He's been balling throughout the course of the minor leagues. They move him to Double-A. Paul Skenes to Double-A. And they're not going to throw Paul Skenes a ton. You're doing exactly what you said they were going to do. Give him some outings. Let him see how the minor league system works, how professional baseball works, and then let him progress that way. And then maybe make team out of camp next year, right? But both these guys are in Double-A right now, and you got a month left in the year.
They haven't even reached September yet.
Yeah, right. And so. It seems like those guys are going to be up there. Keith Law, who covers Major League Baseball for ESPN, came out and said that I don't see a reason why you would skip a couple levels with Dylan Crews right now if you don't think that he's going to be in the big leagues this year. Like, if you think that he's going to be in the big leagues, I see that. But I don't see why you would bring him. But it's completely different.
Yeah.
Right? And as a pitcher, right, like – what is Skenes like? I mean, are they going to throw him up there right now? Or are they going to wait?
For Skenes, I don't know. I think it depends. Again, right? I said this earlier. It depends on the organization, right? Every organization is going to have their system, their ideas, their beliefs, that kind of stuff. But I think the biggest thing for him is just getting on the 5-day routine, right? Yeah. So I think that's what they're doing right now. Is they start him in whatever rookie ball, move him to Double-A, be like, all right, cool. Let's see how you do here. Get on this 5-day routine. I think it would be less likely for Skenes to pitch in the big leagues this year than I think it would be for Crews.
I agree.
Just like you said earlier, innings. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they were like, you know what? Every 5 days you're going to come out of the bullpen, you're going to pitch 1 inning because next year you're going to pitch every 5 days. We want you to get on that routine. We want to get this major league shit out of the way.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Away, all
whatever.
that stuff. Yeah. The routine, the travel, the stadiums, all that stuff. Get it out the way. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Pirates did that. I just don't know what they believe in. I know there are a lot. When I was playing, the Pirates were super strict on their throwing programs, all that stuff, But Crews, I don't know.
So here's my only guess is this. So the Skenes side of it, it seems like they want him active, but they don't want him throwing stressful innings.
Right.
Right. I would imagine just. If you don't want stressful innings, then there would be no reason, even if you think Skenes is the most capable of all capable people to go up there and deal with it, there's just no reason to put you in the big leagues this year. Because I got to imagine there's some inherent stress in that because somewhere you've never really been before. And it's, just as many eyes as you've ever had on you before. So I think they want him active and not just sitting until next year if he can be active. But I just don't see a world where they put him in the big leagues this year. Crews on the other side, now I get it, he skipped a level, which I understand, but I kind of feel like the same thing. Like at the end of the day, like it's August 21st right now, right? So does he stay in Double-A for 9 days and then go play the rest of the year in the big leagues? and then now you have a month. Like if that's the move right now, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, yeah, I see it, I understand the logic, but outside of that being the move, why else would he be in the big leagues this year? Just to go up there for 2 weeks? Like that doesn't make any sense. Right?
Yes, honestly, that would be my logic. Just because I'm gonna be honest with you, my third or fourth start in the big leagues compared to my first start, you know what I'm saying? Like just the way your mind works, completely different. Now I don't know what it's like for a position player. That's completely different, right? So I think Skenes I can only speak for from the pitching side, but I would be curious to see where their AA team is, right? Say they make the playoffs and they go into the first or second week of September. Right. Hey, maybe they just want to call Crews up for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, get up there. You're going to get fucking 15 at-bats. You're going to play the field. You're going to get on the schedule. You're going to be on the routine. Yeah, get your cup of coffee. That way next year when we pencil you in as starting center fielder or right fielder, whatever position he's playing on opening day, it's not your first time up there. You know what I'm saying? You just have the opening day jitters. That's it. Versus, oh my God, I got to make an impression. I got opening day. A lot of things on top of it. So I don't know. That would be my only logic.
Now let me ask you this question because that's fair logic. Now I guess the only pushback I'll give you is with 2 weeks left in the season and you're not in the playoffs, and I don't know where these games are and who the hell they're going to be playing. So I don't know what these stadiums are going to look like. But let's just say you're not playing teams that are in the race. Are you really getting the quote-unquote big league experience like for that kid?
Yes, 100%.
Believe so?
I got traded on August 1st. The Red Sox were in last place. They did a fire sale. Bro, it's just different.
But that's also the Red Sox, too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it matters, honestly. Pittsburgh, the Red Sox, that level is just something completely different. Mikey, you can maybe speak to this, but it's just something different. It does. There's just this different aura about it, and to me, it's the lifestyle. It's the travel.
So
Here's
the other deal.
That's the thing too, right? Like it's just the experience, the reps. You know, it's just like anything else. Like when you're doing. The first time you did a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Like versus now 3 years later, like it's just the reps of I don't know.
And here's the deal, right? So like the minor league schedule is different now than it was when we were there, right? Minor league schedule ended the Labor Day weekend. They don't end until the 17th of September.
Wow.
So now he's got almost a whole month. Right, and
that makes more sense.
Right, so
call
maybe
him up for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and maybe they call him up at the end of the season for the last 2 weeks. Maybe they don't.
Right.
But at least he gets a month, and maybe that's their way of saying, hey, you're going to play in this level, and then next year it's either you're going to start in AAA or you're going to be in the big leagues.
You have a chance to make the team at a camp.
That for sure to me now sounds like
they've changed that.
He's there for a month. I want you to actually have like real competition here. We go to camp, you do what you do.
Right.
Wherever they start you at next year, but like it's easier to push him along next year.
Right, and it brings up my next point with him, right? Like, why
Crews?
Yeah. And I get what they want him to do, like get comfortable and get acclimated in professional baseball. This kid was the number 2 overall pick in the draft. Like you knew his talent. He went to LSU. He did it for 3 years.
The conversation we had yesterday. Yeah.
Put him at a level that you feel is where he's ready right now. Like. Hey, if you think he's ready for AA, put him in AA right now. He doesn't need. If you want him to get a week of getting back into baseball, I get that. But don't move him up to different areas. Like put him right into where you think he's going to be and let him play there.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's what they should do.
To what him and I had a conversation about it yesterday, and I'm like, I just don't understand the. I do think it's a very false sense of confidence, security, and whatever else you may want to throw on top of it anyway. When you have a kid, I don't care if they're the second pick in the draft or the second to last pick in the draft, move 3 different levels in the span of less than like 3 weeks. Like, let's be honest, a week, anybody can have an unbelievable week somewhere or the worst week somewhere, right? And that 1 week over the course of a real season, it's a blip unless you literally hit 8 home runs that week.
Speaking of a week, have y'all seen what De La Cruz is doing?
Who?
He's having
not De La Cruz. The guy up in Seattle.
De La Cruz, not Dylan Cruz.
Not De La Cruz, but the guy.
Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, 17 hits. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's ridiculous.
Don't do that.
It's okay. We'll talk about it later. We're
gonna go hitless for a month.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, man. Like I'm 100% on it with him. Like, hey, when we draft someone, if we're really going to be moving dudes this quick, why don't we just go ahead and put him at the spot where we think he's.
And maybe that was their way
We'll
of
find
getting
out
him,
real quick.
Right.
Yeah, where he's at.
And maybe that was a way of getting him back in baseball shape, but keep him in one spot, get him in baseball shape, and then put him in double A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't.
I always
make him
thought
go
that
through
even
it.
like everybody was like, "Oh, why did he start in rookie ball?" I'm like, "This is all part of a plan. They have a plan for him.
do.
Like they know.
They do.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
it's all
that
mapped
would be
out.
my question to somebody that's obviously never been through it. I don't know why, but never got the call. But is that just
You got
usually how it goes?
eligibility, that's why.
Yeah, well, availability was part of it. Didn't take the team picture. If you were, like, if you're the number 1 overall pick, or if you're, like you said, the last overall pick, is it the same situation that everybody goes through? Like,
Hell
maybe
no.
not time. No, not time wise. Obviously, that changes. But I'm saying, like, you're on a kind of the same plan to begin with.
Hell no, that track's a little different for
Well,
some of
because
these
Dylan
dudes.
Crews did. I mean, he's not in rookie ball.
So that's what I'm saying is they were like, "Hey, when we draft this dude, he's gonna play 8 days in rookie ball. He's gonna go to
No, but
single A for
that
1
was my
week."
question.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you've
yeah.
got to start there, no matter
Yes.
what.
No,
No,
not
no, you
necessarily.
don't. No.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they have a plan, and,
Right.
and like you said, is it the same for everyone? Like, I really don't know what his numbers are, so I don't really think this has anything to do with the numbers. But Gavin started with Dylan. Gavin ain't in Harrisburg right now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, their plans were not the same for whatever their reasons are. Like, they had different plans for these guys, and they're going about
Now,
it.
there's not as many leagues now as there were. Like,
Right.
They took a short season
Yeah.
league out.
And don't get me wrong, it looks like it's performance based. I think that's what it looks like. I think this was more towards whatever plan they already had.
They
It
said-
just
yeah.
happens to be that the performance is there with it right now.
That's more of my question, I guess. If he was batting 160, would they have called him up? to
Right.
Double A?
I do.
No,
I do.
You don't think
I
so?
don't know about
That-
double A,
that.
but I think he's not in rookie ball for sure.
He's not in rookie ball.
Right.
I think double A is probably where they wanted to put him.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I think he would max out if he was struggling. Like he would have stayed at double A. But I'm like that if he kills it at double A and keep like
No doubt.
But yeah. But I think too it all
Doesn't hurt he's
it's-
batting 380.
right.
Yeah.
I think it all is dependent on too is the situation of the player too, where they're drafted, where they live, all that stuff. What's convenient? Like Dylan's from Florida. Maybe he was at home in Florida and they were like, "Hey, go there for 3 days, get your feet wet," right? But if he was an East Coast guy, maybe they were like, "Just go to our low A team. It's right there. It's an hour away." I think it has everything to do about
It's a great point too.
individual
Yeah.
circumstances
For
as
sure.
well.
It's
Yeah.
all about
That's a
individual. And
great
like at
point.
That's what I
some
think, yeah.
point,
Very,
it's-
very good
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
the beginning stages of your development is planned.
Right.
And then you get to a point where it's okay, it's performance based, right? And I can only go based off of personal experiences, right? When I signed, they put me in the Florida, Arizona Fall League was my first professional games, right? Which is you have experience with a bunch of guys, you play there, and then I started in high A as my first full season, played well, then got called to double A.
But that's really rare, even to start at the fall league, right? Like,
Right.
That's like
Right.
even that is
See,
individual,
that's
right?
what I'm asking,
That's
because I
what
feel like a
mean.
lot of
Yeah,
people
Right,
don't
so like
know
that
how
was
it
my
goes.
plan.
Dudes
right?
don't do that. Like that's a really like advanced thing to be like, "Hey,
Right.
Mikey, we think you're already
Here.
fall league is basically double A or better, right?
Yes.
Like let's be real."
I think there's a stat on the fall league that basically says like over 80% of the dudes that play in the fall league at least have a cup in the big league.
Yeah.
So like
Right.
you basically get to the fall league, so someone was your usher to at least a
Yeah.
showing in the big
So a
league.
first
Did you
rounder
know that,
playing
Gary?
at LSU
No,
going
well, you
there.
may have,
I
yeah.
mean, after I went
Yeah,
there.
so basically to start your career as your first professional at bats or innings on the mound in the fall league, that's super rare. Like,
yeah,
it's
and
not-
now part of it was because I signed in August 15th.
It was a lot
Right.
later.
And
when
there's
we
only
signed,
2 weeks
yeah.
left in the season at that point, so they say, we want you to play, and they sit me there.
but if
and
they
I-
don't think you're ready, you don't go there.
exactly, right? They send me and keep me instructional.
Because of the
league.
eyes that's on it, like they don't have to do that.
100%. And then I played really well there, and then so I started the next season and went in high A. Played well in high A, and I get called to double A. So I'm on the fast track. And then my first 20 games in in double A, played great. My last 20 games in my first August of professional baseball, I did not play great, right? So finished okay with an okay season. Started the season in double A knowing very well, hey, you get off to a good start, like you're on the fast track. And my progress went skirt. And
not a fast
I
starter.
stayed there all year, in double A all year. I did not have a great year, right? And then I went to triple A, and that was hey, you either play well or now we got to make some decisions. And fortunately for me, I played well. But my whole point is at some point, it comes down to production. Okay,
Pressure is
this
so
is
real.
where you're going to push yourself until we find out where you need more work. And if you don't need more work, you're in the big leagues. Dylan Crews is a way better baseball player than I was coming out of LSU. Like, way better. And so he's obviously going to just skyrocket through the minor leagues. But that's
big of
just
you.
the only way I can
The
compare.
funny part about it is, though, is he touches about production. These days, today, production looks a lot different than
Yeah.
what we saw production
Right.
when we were coming up.
Yeah.
Like, I was literally just listening to some players talking about how in certain organizations right now, all they care about is exit speeds and launch angles. And if you're able to do these certain things, they think you have, quote unquote, what it takes to be at the next level, and then on to the next level and on to the next level. And they could care less about how many times you strike out or what the batting average is or stuff like that. So, like, production these days, and I don't know what it is in Washington's specific organization and or Pittsburgh's specific organization, but from organization to organization, it looks sometimes a lot different than what it did when we were coming up.
And now the conversation is different between Skenes and Crews, right? Crews, I believe, is performance-based. Skenes, I believe, it doesn't, like, you're getting the big, like, we already know what you
I think
have.
he's going to be the number 3 starter no matter what, at worst next year.
At worst.
Like, at worst. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's complete. I think they're
Like, he could be opening day starter, number 2 starter after Keller next year. Like, easy.
100% crazy. I think he's he's an ace, obviously.
He is an
He
ace.
is
but,
an
like,
ace.
Is
That
he going to
means-
be developed by next year's opening day, or is it going to take till mid-season next year? Like,
Look, and I'm all for. I'm all for the fast movement to the minor leagues. I really am. I wish we had that, right? Like, I wish it was that same way, but like, and some guys did, but for the most part,
No, where it is now. It's
No.
on a
And I'm all
wide
for
scale.
it.
but like, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, Skenes was a major league pitcher this year in
Yeah, he
college
was.
baseball.
Oh my God, he
like,
did not
straight
have-
up,
he
he could
doesn't have
pitch
to-
in
he
the
doesn't have
major
to
leagues
pitch an inning in the
because
minor league baseball.
the things that most first rounders and things like that struggle with, he didn't struggle with. He's missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got everything that you need. It's just like you need to get the reps at AA, AAA, and big leagues. That's it.
It's a
Or
formality.
double A.
Like you're saying, like he was a major league pitcher, like you said, like you usually see a guy. Say if we get a guy in that's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", you're automatically thinking what? He's probably going to have some control issues if you've never seen him
Chase
pitch.
Shores this
Yes.
year, right? He'll go 3-1, like, you know what I'm saying, 3-1, but then 97, 97, and you're just like, bro, just do that from the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, but it takes time to learn
Exactly.
your body and shit like that. 6'6".
You saw
Skenes
him
is doing
do
that. He's
all
doing-
of that
yeah,
stuff. You
exactly.
saw
not
him
only is he
land
doing
breaking
that,
balls.
He's holding runners on. He's slide steps. He controls the run game. He understands how to change the way
Exactly.
he approaches the hitters. Like, he gets it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I mean.
so-
Like, the stuff that you need to iron out in the minor leagues,
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't
doesn't
need to
have to.
iron out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, get to the big leagues, face the competition, figure out what you're going to struggle with big league hitters right away, and, like, let's figure this stuff out at 22.
Moments never can get too big for him. Like, he's
Exactly.
very heady.
Yeah.
Like, he's just,
Exactly.
you know,
In my opinion, like watching him pitch all year, like I just feel like it's not even a struggle, dude. It's just literally getting acclimated to a higher level of hitter.
That's it.
But it's literally like he's going to have to really learn how to, all right, I know I have this and it's great. Let me land one of these more often early. Let me throw this one more often early. And being able to do it at will like he does.
right. And he started showing that towards the end of the
He did.
year.
Exactly.
When
100% he
sh-
did.
When he showed that he could throw that changeup, I was like, he's going to be fine in Pro Bowl because there's going to be certain games that you face certain lineups and they do well against breaking balls, so you're going to have to do the changeup and, you know what I'm saying, pitch off of this. He showed that at the end of the year. So that's all he has to do is figure out Pro Ball hitters and understand which guys do what.
And
you know
how
what I'm
often he
saying?
may end up having to do it and or not.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
to me, and like wasn't it one of his best outings of the year, but like against Arkansas, right? He started throwing hard two-seamers in the righties,
Right.
and he hadn't done that up to
Right.
that point all year, right? So like at some point you're gonna realize, okay, hey, these guys are seeing 100 miles an hour pretty regularly. Like they're kind of on my heater a little bit. They're getting good swings. They're kind of getting over the plate a little bit. All right, let me get this 99 mile an hour two-seamer up on the hands and get him off the plate. And he showed that he has the capability of not only being willing to do it, but capable of locating it and doing it at will.
That's why he's going to be great because the more reps he gets, the more times he's going to be like, oh, this is a game that I need to use my two-seamer. Exactly what you just said. Hey, I need to do this more, right? That's what makes Clayton Kershaw so good. He's got that four-pitch mix that does all the different angles, but he's just got the reps of time to be like, oh, okay, this team's on my fastball and cutter. I got to go two seams and change-ups, and he can do that because he's got 4 pitches, right? And that's what Skenes will do, and he'll be great.
I guess the perfect way to sum it up is, as we've seen, is to be able to go out there one day and literally throw, 72% heaters and go 7 1/3 and strike out 9, and then the next start 5 days later it's 50% heaters and he's throwing different. It's because he's facing a different team, and now he still goes another 7 innings. Like that is the
True
but that's
ace.
the reps of learning. It's a different level of hitter, so I can't literally just go out there and just do this.
And
Exactly.
I would imagine that's probably why you want to get him out of low A ball, where
Exactly.
he can just go 2 innings and throw
100%.
nothing.
But that's also
Because he
why
can miss with his fastball and get away
And they're
with
just
it.
still, oh my God.
Exactly.
And that's why they're doing what they're doing, where they're not going out there and asking them to throw 4 and 5 innings. Like, hey man, just low stress, go
Yep.
throw, in and out. But
Get
we
on the
want you to
5-day
be able to
routine.
see different levels of hitters as you move this thing up,
Yep.
which is a great plan in
100%.
my mind.
I'm excited, and